If Russia and China breaks into war, who would come out victorious? This alliance, born out of shared geopolitical interests, has often been described as a marriage of convenience. Both nations oppose Western dominance, particularly from the United States. This stance has led to increased cooperation in trade, energy, and military exercises. The seeds of this partnership were sown during the Cold War. The collapse of the Soviet Union pushed Russia and China closer together. A shared distrust of U.S. foreign policy cemented their alliance. Despite unity, the alliance is built on shifting sands. Historical grievances and modern disputes threaten their camaraderie. The world watches to see if the partnership will solidify or crumble. While the Russia-China alliance may appear strong on the surface, a closer look reveals a history fraught with tension and mistrust. This historical baggage continues to cast a long shadow over their present-day relationship, fueling suspicion and hindering genuine cooperation. From territorial disputes to ideological clashes, the roots of discord run deep. One of the most significant points of contention stems from the 19th century, when Tsarist Russia, taking advantage of a weakened Qing dynasty, seized vast territories in the Far East, including Outer Manchuria and parts of Outer Mongolia. This period of Russian expansionism left a deep scar on the Chinese psyche, fostering a sense of resentment and mistrust that continues to resonate today. Even during the Cold War, when both nations were nominally communist, ideological differences and power struggles led to a bitter split. The Sino-Soviet split, as it came to be known, resulted in border clashes, ideological warfare, and a deep freeze in relations that lasted for decades. This period of animosity serves as a stark reminder that shared ideologies are not always enough to overcome historical grievances and geopolitical ambitions. Today, despite their close partnership, several points of friction continue to simmer beneath the surface. Russia's war in Ukraine, for instance, has placed China in an awkward position. While Beijing has refrained from condemning the invasion, it has also been cautious about providing overt military support to Moscow, wary of the potential economic and reputational costs. This cautious approach underscores the limits of the Russia-China alliance and highlights the pragmatic considerations that often trump ideological solidarity. Both Russia and China possess formidable military capabilities, making them major players on the global stage. Russia boasts a vast nuclear arsenal and a long history of military prowess, while China has been rapidly modernizing its armed forces, investing heavily in advanced weaponry and technology. Understanding the strengths and weaknesses of each military is crucial. Russia's experience in conventional warfare is honed through interventions in Syria and Ukraine. China's modernization program has transformed the People's Liberation Army into a formidable force. The PLA boasts the world's largest navy by number of ships, and a rapidly growing air force equipped with advanced stealth fighters. China's economic might allows it to sustain a long-term military buildup. Imagine a scenario where the simmering tensions between Russia and China boil over, leading to an all-out war. Such a conflict, while unlikely, would have catastrophic consequences for both nations and the world at large. Analyzing the potential outcomes of such a hypothetical war requires a careful examination of their respective military strengths, geographical factors, and the potential for escalation. One possible flashpoint for a conflict could be the Russian Far East, a vast but sparsely populated region bordering China. This area, rich in natural resources but historically claimed by both nations, could become a source of contention, particularly if Russia's grip on the region weakens due to economic hardship or internal instability. A Chinese incursion into the Russian Far East, perhaps under the pretext of protecting ethnic Chinese minorities, could trigger a swift and brutal response from Moscow. In the initial stages of the conflict, Russia's superior air power and long-range missile capabilities would likely give it an edge. Moscow could launch devastating strikes against Chinese military installations, infrastructure, and command centers, attempting to cripple Beijing's ability to wage war. However, China's vast territory, its sophisticated air defense systems, and its ability to absorb significant losses would make it a formidable opponent. As the conflict drags on, China's numerical superiority in manpower and equipment would start to tell. Beijing could mobilize its vast industrial base to churn out tanks, artillery pieces, and other military hardware at a rate that Russia would struggle to match. Moreover, China's cyber warfare capabilities could disrupt Russian communications, logistics, and even critical infrastructure, further tilting the balance in its favor. Pause 2s. Beyond the direct consequences for Russia and China, a military conflict between these two giants would have far-reaching global implications. The world economy, already interconnected and fragile, would face unprecedented disruptions. Global supply chains, particularly for critical resources and technology, would be severely impacted, potentially leading to widespread shortages and economic instability. Pause 1s. International alliances would be put to the test. NATO, already wary of Russia's military ambitions, might be drawn into the conflict, escalating tensions further. On the other hand, China's alliances, particularly with nations in the Belt and Road Initiative, could see shifts in loyalty and support based on the conflict's progression. Pause 1s. The United Nations would likely face immense pressure to broker peace, but the geopolitical complexities and the interests of powerful member states could hinder effective mediation. Diplomatic efforts would be crucial, but the path to peace would be fraught with challenges. Pause 1s. The environmental impact of such a conflict cannot be overlooked. The use of advanced weaponry and potential for nuclear escalation could lead to devastating ecological consequences, affecting not just the warring nations but the entire planet. Pause 1s. In the hypothetical scenario of a military showdown between Russia and China, the outcome would be highly uncertain and dependent on numerous factors including alliances, strategies, and technological advancements. Both nations possess formidable military capabilities, making any conflict potentially devastating. Ultimately, the true victor would be determined by the resilience, strategy, and international support each nation could muster. Pause 2s. As we ponder this hypothetical scenario, it serves as a stark reminder of the importance of diplomacy, dialogue, and international cooperation in maintaining global peace and stability.